A very good afternoon to all of you. So today we're just going to do a vocabulary exercise and some words, which are used in the wrong context. So just to make it easier for you all to speak correctly and write correctly. It's all very simple, but maybe just to refresh yourselves, Okay. Now, as you can see on the board, the first set of words that I have taken are under, underneath, beneath, below, and down. In what context should they be used in? Now, under is used when something is directly underneath something, under another thing, or it could also mean a lower place or position. And under can also mean younger than or less than. Now, I'll give you examples for this. The cat is sleeping under the table. Okay, so it is directly under the table. Maybe there's no contact, yes, but it is directly under the table. The whole village was underwater, submerged, underwater. Then, as I said, under can also mean younger than or less than. So we can say, he cannot vote as he is under 18 or he is under age, less than 18 years, or he is younger. Okay, so he cannot vote. Then the second word that we have underneath, it is often used to say something that is covered by another thing. Now, underneath and beneath, they mean the same thing. But actually, beneath is a formal literary word. So, they're interchangeable, underneath and beneath. It is often used to say that something is covered by another thing. And beneath has the same meaning as under or underneath, but it's a formal literary word. I'm not at all comfortable wearing the jumper underneath the jacket or beneath the jacket. Second example, my daughter was sleeping peacefully beneath her blanket. So the blanket has a physical touch over here, with the body. So my daughter was sleeping peacefully beneath her blanket. Then we come on to the word below. Okay. Now below is preferred when something is in a lower position, but there is a connection between the two things. For example, it could be the same building, it could be the same document, it could be the same place. And I'll give you examples to make it clear. Now, all of you get comprehension passages, for your exam. And you get a written note over there. Read that passage carefully and answer the questions given below. Why is it not said answer the questions given under or underneath? Because those questions are connected with the passage. Okay, so answer the questions given below because they pertain to the passage and they are connected. Next example, he lives in the flat below mine. Okay, now flat, so that means it's the same building, it's connected, but the flat below. Then another example, it's below his dignity to apologize. Now, his dignity is connected to the person, okay? So it is below his dignity to apologize. Another example, fill out the form, but do not write anything below the red line. That means it's a continuation of the document, but you are only supposed to fill that part which is above the line, and the portion below the red line has to be filled up by somebody else and not you. So fill out the form but do not write anything below the red line. So basically we can say it is used in cases where an object is not directly under another. Now below is also used in measurements, okay? Supposing we are talking about a vertical scale. His temperature is below normal, okay? Then I'm very grateful to every creature below the sun and love life, Okay, so below can be used in that context also. Then we come on to the last word, down. Down is often used with verbs of movement, movement, remember, such as fall or pull, and it's also used in phrasal verbs such as bring down, calm down, to go down. Okay. Now, that means basically movement to a lower level. Down can be used as a preposition, as an adverb, as a phrasal sentence, as a linking adverb, as a verb link, and as an adjective. Examples, they sat down at the table. He fell down the stairs. He fell down from the roof. The tears rolled down her cheeks. The plane was shot down. She put her head down. He bent down and picked up a rock. She lives a few miles down the road. Okay? So, and in prepositional phrases we can have, he is down with an illness. She is down in the dumps, feeling very low spirits. He has seen a come down in life. He was at a very good position, but now he has lost that position. So he has seen a come down in life. Okay. Now we go on to the second set of words that we have, keep and put. Now both are verbs, but we use them in slightly different contexts. Okay. Now keep means to keep something. It could be physically or it could be non-physically also. And basically we use the word keep when we are talking about a long-term action, or when we keep things in a position which is supposed to be permanent. Okay. For example, you know that when you bring vegetables from the market, where do you keep them? You keep them in the fridge. Now that's a permanent place. That's a long-term action. So to place or store something in fixed places. Okay. Like example, please keep the vegetables in the fridge. It's a kind of a permanent action. Then to keep something also means to carry something. Okay, example, my uncle always keeps a gun with him. That means he carries. I always keep my mobile with me. That means to carry. Okay. Keep your certificates with you for the interview. Carry them along. Okay. Where do you keep your files? Now that's a fixed position, a safe position in safe custody, so to speak. So where do you keep your files? Now, physically, and as I said, to keep something that is physical. And non-physically, I will give you an example. Like when you say, I like people who keep their promise. Okay, keep their promise. Now, the keeping the promise is not carrying something physically. So that is a non-physical way of saying to keep one's promise or to keep one's word. So this is non-physical. Okay. Or sometimes I've shared a secret with somebody and I say, please keep it to yourself. Don't spread it around. So this is non-physically. Okay. Please keep your promise, or the other one I have to, please keep to my word. Okay. I always keep to my word. So that is a non-physical kind of way of keeping. Now put we generally use for a temporary, it's a temporary action. Okay. Where you are supposed to set or you're supposed to lay down something, and it's a short-term placement. It's a temporary action. Example, put the glass of juice on the table. I put the toys away. Put the books on the table. Okay. I put my daughter in a boarding school. You're moving from one place to another, but I mean, yes, position is there, but it's not a permanent one. Okay. So I put my daughter in a boarding school. Okay. Then after that, we come on to the words injured and wounded. Now, injured and wounded, both these words mean damage to the body. But sometimes we get, initially sometimes we get confused when to use the word injured and when to use the word wounded, okay? So both the words mean damage to the body. It could be an accident, it could be a fall, it could be you've been hit by somebody, you could have been injured by a weapon, and there could be many other things. And like we say, a minor injury or a major injury or a serious injury, okay? Now, wounds are also injuries, but the difference in injury and wound is that wounds are injuries that rupture the skin, break the skin, or other body tissues. And like it could be a cut, it could be a scrape, it could be a scratch, it could be punctured skin, okay? So when there is, you don't see any physical mark outside, then it is injury. But if there is some kind of a wound that is created, if there is a break, if there is a cut in the skin, or if there is a scrape, or you bruised yourself badly and you've been scratched and the skin gets ruptured or punctured, then we call it a wound. Okay, then we call it a wound. Like surgery or stitches or sutures which we get after a surgery, they also cause wounds. Okay, and injuries could be injuries also include bruises, burns, dislocations, fractures, sprains and strains. Okay, so that's the difference. The next word that we have on the board is disinterested and uninterested. Now, disinterested means to be impartial, to be unprejudiced, to be unbiased. Okay, so please don't interchange these words because they don't mean the same thing at all. Disinterested means to be impartial, unbiased, unprejudiced. I'll give you an example. A panel of disinterested judges who were meeting the contestants for the first time judged the acting contest. Okay, so they had no link with these contestants. They did not know them, at all. They were meeting them for the first time. So they were impartial because they did not know anybody. Okay, so they were impartial, unprejudiced, unbiased, and that is what is required for judging. Uninterested means bored or not wanting to be involved with something. The children were uninterested in attending the lecture. Okay, this means that they had no interest in the lecture. They were bored, they were not interested at all. So this is the word which is more commonly used, and it should be uninterested. When you're bored with something, when you don't want to get yourself involved with anything, then it is uninterested. The next set of words we have is sympathy and empathy. Now, sympathy is a feeling of pity or sorrow for someone else suffering, and you sympathize with somebody. Daya dikhana, daya, and this is not considered to be a very nice form of feeling. Why? And you must be knowing that anybody, the specially abled or people, they hate to be pitied, bichara kind of a thing. So that is not suitable. But empathy is the ability to understand another person's feelings. And when you do that, you empathize with them. So a sentence would be, it's definitely better to empathize than sympathize. Okay. The next set of words that we have is flaunt or flout. Okay. F-L-A-U-N-T and F-L-O-U-T. Now, flaunt means to show off. And all youngsters and all children, they like to flaunt their things, their clothes or their styles, So example, John flaunted his stylish new outfit. Okay. And whereas flout means to defy or break rules. Okay. Especially, when to show scorn or contempt, when you want to look down upon somebody or things like that. Okay. Example, John flouted the business meeting dress code by coming in casual. So he broke that, rule of coming in executive clothes or, informal clothes, and he landed up coming in casual. So he flouted the business meeting dress code. The next set of words that we have are grey and grey. Okay. Now, Gray, grey, it is the standard American English spelling, whereas Grey, grey, is the standard British English spelling. Okay. Now, the next word that we have on the board is historic and historical. Now, historic means something that's very important or famous and influential. And historical pertains to history, okay? Related to history. Now, I can give you a sentence which is both. 15th August is a historic and historical day for all Indians. Why is it historic important? Because India became independent, okay, on 15th August. And historical because the British rule in India came to an end, okay. The Britishers who had been ruling over India, they left India and went back. So historic, famous, influential, important, and historical related to history. Now the next set of words that we have is inquiry and enquiry. Now the one you can see with IN, inquiry, So just remember, inquiry is used in relation to a formal investigation, okay? Investigation. When you're investigating something important or you're looking into a matter, that is inquiry. A judicial inquiry has been ordered to look into this embezzlement case, okay? Whereas enquiry, ENQUIRY, it is the act of questioning. I mean, for all simple things, also normal day-to-day things when you want to know questions. Example, in simple words, inquire means to ask questions. I would like to inquire, EN, about the duration and placement chances of this course, okay? Just to make an inquiry, to ask. The next one, the judge has suspended the inquiry, the investigation into the police shootout at the Capitol, okay? So just remember, the clue that you can have is I for investigation and I for inquiry, okay? That will help you remember. Now the next word that we have is learned, learned, and learned, okay? The pronunciation here changes. Now, these words, they are actually interchangeable because American and British English, that is, followed, okay? But I have put here another word, and the pronunciation of this word is learned, okay? This becomes an adjective. It is used as an adjective. He is a learned man. Learned means he's intellectual, scholarly, or a great person, okay, well educated, highly qualified, okay? Then we use it and the pronunciation becomes learned, okay? Otherwise it is learned and learnt, the past tense of learn. But when we use it as learned, then it becomes an adjective and it is used to describe a person who is highly educated or intellectual. Okay. Now the next words that we have are avenge and revenge. Okay, revenge is something you all know. It's a bad thing to think about taking revenge. Kisi se badla lena. Okay, revenge. But anyhow, you should know it from the English point of view. To revenge means to gain satisfaction by harming someone in return for some wrongdoing which you have suffered at their hands. Okay, so that is revenge. Now this revenge, if somebody has harmed me, I will take revenge. So when I take that, when I try to harm that person myself, I am taking revenge. But supposing I don't do anything about it, but my friend says, I will definitely avenge this insult. That means my friend is going to take revenge on my behalf. So when you're doing it yourself, personally, it is revenge. But when somebody else tries to rectify the harm or tries to harm somebody in return, then it becomes avenge. Avenge means to take revenge or seek retribution on behalf of somebody else. For example, the brother, he vowed to avenge his sister's death. Okay, so the sisters died and whoever is instrumental in killing her, so the brother takes a vow that I will avenge my sister's death, because the sister's dead, she cannot take revenge herself, so the brother is going to take it on behalf of the sister. So when you do it personally, it's revenge. When somebody else does it on your behalf, it becomes avenge. Okay, examples, one or two. The boy took revenge for being rejected by throwing acid on the girl. Okay. The best revenge is to smile at hatred. Okay. Now for avenge, I'll give you Mark Antony avenged the death of Julius Caesar by killing all the conspirators in the battle. So Julius Caesar was killed, but all those people who had stabbed him, killed him. Who took revenge? Mark Antony. So Mark Antony avenged the death of Caesar. Okay. The next set of words we have is dependent and dependent. Okay. One is A-N-T and one is E-N-T. Now dependent, A-N-T, it is a noun and it means a person or someone who depends on support from somebody else, and usually it could be for various things, but usually for financial dependence. Okay. Example for this sentence is minors are dependents, D-A-N-T-S. Minors are dependents of their parents or legal guardians. And in old age, what happens? Parents become dependents of their children. Okay. Now the other one, dependent with E-N-T, that is an adjective describing a noun, a person or a pronoun. It is an adjective meaning relying on somebody, depending on somebody. Children should learn to be independent and not be dependent on others for help all the time, to rely on. Now, a clue to remember this, dependent, A-N-T. Now, dependent is a person. So, remember, a person. So, A-N-T is a person. So, that is the way to remember it. And dependent, E-N-T, means to rely. Rely also has the word R-E-L-Y. Dependent here, a person. So remember, that is a dependent, a person. And here, rely. E is there, so that is dependent. And of course, you can remember it very easily from the word independent. Okay. Now we come on to the next set of words, that is venom and poison. Okay. So we've all heard these words, very often. Now, venomous. From venom, it becomes venomous. So, according to biologists, the term venomous is applied to organisms that bite or sting to inject their toxins. So, they either sting or they bite to inject their toxins. Okay. And whereas poison applies to toxin that gets into the body via swallowing, inhaling, or absorption through the skin, then it is poison. But when it comes from a bite or a sting, it is venomous. Okay. And when the toxin gets into the body either by swallowing, that means through food, or you've eaten something, or you've inhaled something through smell, or your skin has absorbed it, then it is poison. Okay. So, a clue, a simple thing is, if you bite it and you die, it's poison. If it bites you and you die, it's venom, a simple way. But, occasionally an animal can be both venomous and poisonous. If you've heard of the blue-ringed octopus, it is venomous when it bites with its beak, but it becomes poisonous if it is swallowed. Okay. Then we come on to number 14, that's material and material. This material is a very common word, IAL, but this one is not so common, which is IEL. Now this material is substance. It is defined as a substance, it could be a piece of cloth, it could be information, it could be anything, any substance. And it refers to something that has consistency, okay? Material can also be used as an adjective describing money or, or other possessions such as documents or objects. Like you have study material, research material, okay? Then you have, we also use material for fabric, the fabric. The material of your dress is very nice, it's very soft, the fabric, okay? So there are different ways in which we can use this word material. Example, my shirts are made out of a soft material. That means cloth, a piece of cloth. She is collecting raw material for her experiment. That means substance. My research is not complete, yet I need more material to understand each aspect correctly. Here, material means information. Okay. Now the other one, IEL, this word defines the military shipments or shipments of equipment and weapons. So this M for military and this M for material, IEL, okay? Example, the material was shipped to the war zone immediately. Now, what material does it mean? It means military equipment and supplies. So that is IEL. Okay. The next one that we have is accept and accept. This is very commonly confused. Now, accept means to receive, to take, to receive. He accepted my invitation. Okay. And then if there is some kind of a game or, in play, he accepted his defeat bravely. Okay. Now, accept means to leave out. Accept, iske ilawa, Please take all the books off the shelf except for the red one. Okay. Usko chhod ke, uske ilawa. Okay. Another sentence I'll give you. All the boys except John went out to play. All the boys went out, only one boy stayed back in class, and that was John. So all the boys except John went out to play. Now this next one I put it as A and B. All together and all together. Now one, you can see that there are two words. One word all, second one is together. And the B one is just one word and with a single L. Okay, so you have to be careful about that. Now the one with the first one, all together. Now all together means gathered, okay, with everything in one place, all together in one place, okay, remember. Example, we were all together at the wedding ceremony. All the people, all together. Okay. The second one, the B one with a single L and as one word. Okay. Now all together, the single word, it means entirely, entirely, or on the whole. Okay. So you must remember this. These are two words. This is only one word. Okay. All together and all together. This means all the people together, gathered around. And all together, this means on the whole. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example so that you can understand it better. Altogether, I think the presentation given by the students was well compiled. Means overall, above, on the whole, entirely. After going through the presentation, the teacher said that on the whole or altogether, I think the presentation given by the students was well compiled. So on the whole or entirely, okay? Then the next word that we have is already and already. Here you see again we have two words. Here we have one word and a single L, okay? Just as we had a single L here. Now already, the first one has both, there are two words. Already means prepared, okay? Dinner was all ready by the time the guests arrived, okay? So prepared, the meaning for this one is prepared, already. Prepared. Now already, the one with the single L means by this time. This one means by this time. By this time, okay? The house was already burnt down by the time the fire brigade came, okay? The house was already burnt down, already. It had happened. So by this time, so they were too late. So it means by this time. Okay. Now the next one that we have is a lot, and B is a lot, and I put a cross in front of it. So a lot of people. Now there, it always has to have two words, a lot. So please do not write it together like this, a lot, okay? This is wrong, okay? And this means, a lot means many, okay? A lot means many and two words. And when you write it in as a single in one word, it is incorrect. Then we come on to the next set of words, that is sight, sight, and sight. Now the first one, sight. The teacher told me to cite an example for the parts of noun, okay? To cite an example, to give an example, to quote, okay? So cite actually means to quote or, to document something, okay? Please cite an example to make things clear. That is cite, an example, okay? This sight means to see, okay? It means vision, okay? The sight of the tricolor fills me with pride, okay? So this sight is quote, and this sight is vision. The sight of the tricolor fills me with pride, and this sight is a place. My father is at the construction site, okay, where the building is coming up. So he is at the construction site. And this means place or position. Place or position. This site. Position. Okay. Then we come on to the last set of words that we have for the day today. One is conscience, okay? And the other is conscious, okay? Conscience. Now this word conscience, it means to have a sense of right and wrong. And in value-add classes in schools and all, you're always taught, listen to your conscience. Apni antaratma ki awaaz, conscience. The little inner voice that keeps telling you, this is right and this is wrong. Antaratma ki awaaz. So the conscience, the sense of right and wrong. The student's conscience kept him from cheating in the exam. Okay, the little voice and the sense of right and wrong stopped the boy from cheating in the exam. And the other word, conscious. Now conscious means to be aware, to be awake, okay? I was conscious when the burglar entered the house. I was conscious, I was aware, I was awake, okay? Then we also use it in another sense. She is very conscious of her looks. She's aware of her looks, so she keeps, behaving in a funny manner. Okay, so conscience and conscious, aware. I was conscious of my clothes. Okay, I was conscious of the fact that I came from a low income group. Okay, so conscious, aware, or awake in certain matters, certain contexts. So I hope these words will help you out and will, actually be beneficial to all of you. Thank you very much for listening and watching. God bless each one of you. Thank you so much.